Good evening, guys. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you guys clicked on the thumbnail, and as the name suggests and as promised in previous videos, we're starting our journey through South Africa, and I thought it would be great to start off with some do's and don'ts of visiting South Africa. So this is really for you guys abroad to try and keep safe, to try new things, and not be limited to what you see on the brochure when going through your possible itineraries. So let's start off with some points. I've got about 19 points here that I like to get through, so I hope they all help. So first things first, when you get off the plane, I find that I've heard of people saying that when they get off the plane, they're approached by guys from taxis and so forth for rides, and they get charged quite exorbitant amounts of money. Of course, my suggestion in that case would be rather download Uber South Africa, get a local guy, hail them through the service, and you'll get more relative pricing. Because unfortunately, the guys at the airports waiting there sometimes do take chances. I'm not saying it's all of them, but I'm sure there is some of them, because, as I said, this is what I've heard from some people that I've spoken to. So yeah, just be safe in terms of not being conned out of your money, because they do know that a lot of you guys don't have any knowledge yet of what things really cost in South Africa. So that's point number one. Point number two, I would say always know where you're going. So when you're going anywhere, have a plan, have an itinerary, check it maybe on the mapping system. I'll give you a little bit of a story. There's guys that come visit here in South Africa by my wife's guest house, and a lot of times the guys want to go do things in very dangerous areas, which they're not aware of, and I don't think anybody has told them. And we obviously take into consideration to keep them as safe as possible. So yeah, just know where you're going. Certain areas are off limits, and even for South Africans, we don't go there. So really, just speak to the local people. Ask them, do they think it's safe for you guys to travel there, and they'll definitely give you their thoughts regarding that. Point number three, make some friends in South Africa. Don't just go to your hotel room and stick there or whatever. Make some friends. Go to a braai. A braai is basically what you guys would consider as a barbecue in the US. However, it's generally over wood fire, and generally it's proper meat that's get done there, and it goes along with quite a lot of other type of stuff as well. So get yourself invited to a braai. I'm sure your taste buds will thank you, because it's quite pleasant. Then try local dishes. So I would always say, don't just go to your normal run-of-the-mill franchised restaurants. Try all the local cuisines. Try all the different foods that we've got here. Your taste buds will once again thank you. And even if you do want to do a franchise that you're not accustomed to, like for instance Nando's, Wimpy, Steers, those type of guys. Try something new. I mean, you're going to a different country, you might as well. And then I would suggest as well, regarding when you're in, let's say, a pub or a club, just to always be vigilant when you're getting drinks. Don't just take drinks from anybody. They do tend to spike people in these type of places. So, yeah, try and maybe get a closed drink or a drink directly from the barman or the waiter. It would just be safer for you as well. Then, the next point, try all our natural attractions. Once again, as I mentioned earlier, don't just stay in your hotel room. Maybe rent a vehicle so that you can be mobile and go see the things outside of the city, because South Africa really is one of the most beautiful countries, in my opinion, the most beautiful country in the world. And we've got such a beautiful natural scene. We do have beautiful animals, beautiful trees and plants, and abundance in wildlife and birds, and all those type of things. So really go to some natural attractions. You don't just have to go to the big names like a Kruger National Park. There's lots of other type of places to go to as well. In fact, some of them are like within half an hour's drive from Johannesburg. So I mean, you do really have quite a lot of options to your disposal. You just need to really try new things. Then South Africa is very well known globally for the wine. So try the local wines. If you're going to be in the Cape region, maybe go do a wine tasting, at the orchards and stuff like that. So it's really going to be with your while. We do have some of the finest wines in the world. Then from a driving point of view, always drive with a safety belt. In South Africa, it is quite a big thing, and people tend to give you fines. The speed cops tend to give you fines, what you would know as traffic cops. Okay, so South Africa is rich in culture as portrayed by 11 different languages. So we really do have quite an abundance of different people living all together in South Africa. So what I would also suggest is not to bring your own insecurities and your own issues and baggage with you from abroad. South African cultures are unique, and they do not necessarily share the same type of sentiments as you. So please do bear that in mind. Then there is something in South Africa, or not something, but a type of people that is called the coloureds. And I do know that a lot of the American people, they tend to get offended because how dare we say coloureds? It's an actual people, guys. They're the salt of the earth. They're their own unique population, generally found in the Cape regions and but not just there. I mean, they do get found outside there as well. But I mean, it's really a mixed race people, and they're very proud of their heritage. And so don't take offense when people are referred to as that, because they are also proud to be called that. So do bear that in mind. Then, whilst in South Africa, get biltong or dry wors. So it's basically the same as some beef jerky as what you would find maybe in the US, just a lot better. And I would suggest you don't get it at a local supermarket, rather get it from like a biltong deli or maybe even a butcher. If you can find a butcher in your region, and really try it out. It's very good. It's basically dried meat with some spices and stuff like that, and it's amazing. Then another thing that I would like to say, and this is really just for us as a people from South Africa, we really do not like it when guys call us the Africans per se. When we say we're from South Africa and you guys are like, so you're from Africa. No, I mean. And the reason why I bring it up is purely because, I mean, if you consider people from Brazil, if you ask them where they're from, they say they are from Brazil. They don't say they're from South America. So, and they also don't consider themselves as American. They consider themselves Brazilian. So same thing here. South Africa is an actual country at the southernmost tip of Africa, and it's our own country. We're born here. We're quite proud of our heritage. So when you do speak to a South African, just know they're not African, they are South African. So and they're proud of that. So just be aware of that. Then, as I mentioned earlier, maybe look at getting a rental car. It's best to when you travel to have options, to go out of the city. And then try and be mindful of those around you. So this is really a don't. So try and be mindful of those around you. Do not be carrying expensive items on your person that's visible. Don't walk around with your cameras out in the city areas and stuff like that, because, I mean, it is a risk. Just be vigilant, be thoughtful. Would you do that in your own city? Probably not. So try and be aware that, things could happen in here, and nothing is worse than being a foreigner in a country and all of your stuff gets stolen. So just be aware of that. something that goes hand in hand with that is to always lock everything. So you always have to be locking your house when you leave your accommodation area or whatever you might be staying at. Always lock up. When you leave your car unattended, always make sure it's locked, because there is remote jamming happening, and people do tend to gain access to those vehicles, and theft is a real thing in South Africa. So please bear in mind that you always have to be locking up. Then I would always suggest that you have a little bit of cash on you, especially if you're going to be renting that car and going outside of the cities. We do tend to have quite a lot of toll roads leading out of Johannesburg specifically. I know there's quite a number there. So if you do travel outwards towards other regions, you are likely to get across a toll road. So you might want to have some cash on hand, because they do not take all type of cards. So just bear that in mind. Also, public toilets, always know that majority, if you go to malls and stuff like that, generally the public restrooms are pretty clean. However, when you do go to your garages and stuff like that, when you do the long distance travels, please bear in mind that I would suggest you always know where your closest toilet is, because they're not always going to be very sanitary. And what I think what goes hand in hand with that as well is to always just be knowing that you always want to fill up fuel. So especially if you're going out long distance and you don't know where your next garage is going to be, and you don't have a clue where you're going yet, it's always best to be staying topped up on your vehicle, because at the end of the day, it is quite a risky thing if you want to go and stand in the middle of the nowhere with no fuel. So those are just a couple of tips that I thought I'll share with you guys today. Obviously, there's thousands of things that I can really comment and talk about on this channel, do's and don'ts for you guys abroad, and obviously there will be videos to follow. But John, tell me you guys' thoughts. Tell me your ideas. What's the type of things that you maybe found was a problem for you when you came to South Africa, or was maybe a culture shock to you, or maybe things that you found was quite exactly the same as where you're from? Share your thoughts, share your ideas. I look forward to sharing with you guys in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a fantastic evening, and cheers.